The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic has been felt across different sectors. The pandemic and the subsequent restrictions brought the economy to a grinding halt. The impacts have reached far and wide, but the hospitality industry was the hardest hit. The hospitality industry basically refers to the service industry. That includes lodging, eateries, cafes, hotels, restaurants, travel, and tourism. Good evening, you're watching Fact of the Matter with Navya Singh. After the deadly pandemic broke out, people stopped traveling. They stopped going to hotels, cafes, or bars. Many people stopped eating out, leaving restaurant operators wondering if delivery orders could make up for the losses of the in-house sales. Businesses that rely on face-to-face interactions and encounters could not use video conferencing to provide their services. In order to keep themselves afloat, some hotels started offering takeaway food. There was an additional pressure on the industry to ensure that their services and deliveries are safe and hygienic. Somnath Mukherjee, Area Director Karnataka for Taj Hotels, says that they started focusing on reconnecting with guests. They introduced a special menu including fresh and natural meals packed with antioxidants and immunity-boosting superfoods. Some even started offering quarantine rooms for asymptomatic or mildly symptomatic COVID-19 patients. Now, 1.5 years into this deadly health crisis, the hospitality industry, which contributes to nearly 8% of the country's GDP, remains one of the most impacted sectors in the country and continues to bleed without inadequate financial help from the government. Hotels across categories have almost zero revenue and continue to suffer. Take, for example, the Hyatt Regency in Mumbai, the financial capital, recently issued a notice to its employees informing them that the hotel is closing down temporarily as it does not have funds to pay salaries. Now, one of the employees at the five-star hotel said that they were already working at a 50% pay cut since last year. For the last 2 months, they had not received their salaries ranging between 16,000 to 30,000. And then, one day, the hotel's management said that it will suspend the services completely. Hyatt is not the only hotel to bear the brunt of the pandemic. The Hotel Association of India has raised concerns over the deep impact of the pandemic on the hospitality sector. The association said that more than 40% of hotels have shut down and about 70%, mostly small ones, will face closure as the pandemic-led restrictions continue to disrupt businesses. The industry, which employs people from different walks of life, is facing the biggest human resource challenge, with 70% of the overall jobs now in danger, directly or indirectly. Now, if we talk about India, there are nearly 40 million direct jobs in the tourism and hospitality industries and millions more indirectly dependent on the sector. It has been assessed by various agencies that this sector has been impacted by about 70 to 80% of normal operations. So the extent of jobs being lost or being vulnerable is concerning. Industry associations have time and again said and raised concerns about the industry's survival for nearly a year now, having sent several representations to the government seeking urgent support. The Hotel Association of India has appealed for a stimulus package that subsidizes the salaries of hotel employees by 50% from April 2021 to March 2022. The association has demanded that the hospitality industry be given an infrastructure status and be brought to the concurrent list of the Constitution. Now, how does this help? This will enable the industry to access long-term funds at subsidized rates as available to other infrastructure industries like ports, highways, airports, railways, etc. Now, the infrastructure status will also encourage greater investments in tourism infrastructure around the country, create income, and help economic recovery of the country. And this is the need of the hour. At present, the relief incentives and other support to industries differ from state to state. Now, take for example the state of Gujarat. Gujarat decided to waive off property tax as well as fixed charge in electricity bills of hotels, restaurants, and water parks affected by the pandemic for a duration of 1 year. As of now, we have some idea about how the pandemic affected the hospitality industry on a national level. Now, let's understand how the crisis affected the industry in the country's financial capital. Amid lockdowns and restrictions in Maharashtra, the Hotel and Restaurant Association of Western India has urged the Mumbai Municipal Corporation, which is the BMC, the civic body, to grant concessions to the hospitality industry. The association has pleaded time and again to the central government for waiver of statutory charges, including property tax and minimum water charges, electricity bills, along with full relief in excise fees. The association has said that the first and the second lockdowns combined have impacted over 20 lakh jobs for each month that hotels and restaurants remained closed. The industry suffers a loss of over 2,000 crores. This is a huge number. There are about 2 lakh restaurants and 10,500 hotels in Maharashtra, and the industry employs about 30 lakh jobs directly or indirectly. The situation has said that the industry revenue in the beginning of 2021 was below 20% of the pre-pandemic levels, and since April 2021, it hasn't even touched 5% of the pre-pandemic levels. Each lockdown extension is costing the industry massive loss, and the debt is only piling up. The hospitality sector in the country is staring at an uncertain future that is expected to prevail over the couple of quarters. Now, the sector, which was witnessing a revival of sorts, if we can say, in the first 3 months of this year, has been severely hit by the second wave of the pandemic.